You sit in the quiet, and it feels like the world has turned its back on you. The absence of noise, the stillness of the moment, the lack of a buzzing phone or a crowded inbox, it all feels like loneliness. You sense a void where chatter, movement, and validation used to live, and your instinct is to label it as something gone wrong. You think the silence means you're failing, that the emptiness signals a loss. But what if it's not a loss at all? What if this quiet is the most real thing you've ever experienced? This isn't loneliness creeping in, it's clarity breaking through. For the first time, nothing is pulling you in 100 directions. No notifications, no demands, no need to perform for an audience that's never truly seen you. It's just you, sitting with yourself, and that rawness can feel like a stranger staring back from behind your own eyes. On WisdomWavesAura, we explore this truth. The silence isn't your enemy, it's your awakening. Society has conditioned you to fear this stillness. You've been taught that a quiet life is an unfulfilled one, that solitude is a punishment, that a moment without external validation is a moment wasted. But solitude isn't a curse, it's a mirror. It forces you to face the person you've been too busy to meet, yourself. Most people aren't afraid of being alone. They're terrified of seeing themselves without the mask of distraction, without the armor of constant motion, without the identity stitched together from other people's opinions. You've spent years running from this moment, filling the silence with noise, scrolling, chasing, pleasing, because the quiet demands honesty. It strips away the filters and leaves you exposed. And that exposure, it's where transformation begins. WisdomWavesAura is all about embracing these moments of truth, where you stop performing and start becoming. Think of Marcus Aurelius, a man who understood that the real battlefield isn't out there in the world, it's within. The noise you've allowed to build in your mind, the endless loop of expectations, comparisons, and desires. That's the chaos you've been fighting. You've chased people, approval, stimulation, anything to avoid facing the silence that reveals who you are beneath it all. You've been conditioned to believe that quiet means something's missing, that stillness is a sign you're falling behind. But the truth is, the world hasn't abandoned you in this moment. It stopped lying to you. The applause has faded, the crowd has dispersed, and the people who only clapped when you were winning, who only stayed when you were useful, are gone. What you thought was connection was often just mutual distraction to people helping each other avoid their own truths. On WisdomWavesAura, we dive into this clarity, helping you see that this isn't loneliness, it's freedom. Clarity doesn't wrap you in warmth. It's cold, sharp, and unrelenting. It cuts through the illusions you've clung to, the stories you've told yourself about who you are and what you need. It shows you the raw reality of your life. Who was never really with you, who only showed up when it served them, who listened only when it was convenient. You begin to see the connections you called meaningful were often just shared avoidance. A dance of distraction to keep you both from facing yourselves. This realization stings because it forces you to confront not just their absence, but your own choices, how you bent, how you stretched, how you gave pieces of yourself to people who never truly saw you. WisdomWavesAura is here to guide you through this pain, to show you that this isn't weakness, it's an awakening. The silence feels suffocating at first, like it's pressing down on your chest, urging you to escape. Your mind screams for distraction. Check your phone, call someone, do anything to drown out the quiet, because in that quiet, a voice emerges. It's your voice, the one you've ignored for years. It knows the truth. It remembers what you've buried. It whispers the things you've avoided, that you gave yourself to people who didn't deserve you, that you betrayed your own soul to be chosen, that you sold your peace for the fleeting high of being needed. That voice is terrifying because it doesn't lie. It cuts through the stories you've told yourself, the justifications you've built to keep going. But this pain isn't a sign of failure, it's the birth of clarity. On Wisdom, we embrace this voice, learning to listen to its truth instead of running from it. Marcus Aurelius wrote that if you're distressed by anything external, the pain comes not from the thing itself, but from your perception of it, and that perception is something you can change. Right now, that truth feels heavy. The pain isn't their absence, it's the collapse of the illusions you built around them. You thought they saw you, but you were seeing their reflection and mistaking it for your own. You believed their presence defined your worth. But now that they're gone, you're left with the real you are, unfiltered and fully visible for the first time. Not to them, but to yourself. This is where your real life begins. Not the life of chasing or performing, but the life of becoming. WisdomWavesAura is your space to explore this journey, to step into the forge of solitude and let it shape you. Solitude is where you break your addiction to applause. It's where you shed the need to be liked, to be validated, to be seen. Most people run from this. They fill the silence with noise, with people, with anything to avoid facing themselves. But if you stay, if you sit in the quiet long enough, something shifts. You start to hear your strength beneath the noise. You rediscover your values, not the ones handed to you by the world, but the ones born in you, waiting to be uncovered. This isn't about being alone, it's about being aligned. Alone is feared, alignment is sought. And the bridge between the two is this stillness. WisdomWavesAura encourages you to cross that bridge, to stop seeking external validation and start listening to your deeper truths. The longer you sit in the silence, the more it reveals. At first, it's unbearable, like a weight you can't shake. You want to run, to fill the void with something familiar. But if you stay, you'll see what you've been too distracted to notice. You'll see where you gave too much, where you stayed too long, where you traded your peace for acceptance. You'll see the strength that's been buried beneath the noise, the part of you that doesn't beg, chase, or perform. This is the gift of solitude, not punishment, but liberation. It's the chance to rebuild, not from approval or attention, but from alignment with your values, your discipline, your principles. WisdomWavesAura is your guide to this rebuilding, helping you craft a life rooted in truth. Your mind will fight this process. It will beg you to go back, to reattach, to fill the silence with anything that feels safe. But if you give in, you'll forfeit the gift this moment offers. Solitude is a forge, shaping you into someone who doesn't bend with the world's winds. It teaches you to stand in stillness, to live beyond opinion, to belong to something higher, a code, a discipline, a truth no one can take from you. This truth is only found when the false is stripped away. You're not lonely, you're seeing clearly, and clarity, though it hurts, is where your strength is born. WisdomWavesAura is here to remind you that this pain is temporary, but the strength you gain is eternal. The silence shows you where you betrayed yourself, where you chased validation at the cost of your soul. It reveals the moments you let others define you, when you let their approval become your worth. But it also shows you the part of you that's unshakable, the part that doesn't need their applause, their presence, or their validation. This is the version of you that's been waiting, buried beneath the noise, ready to rise. The longer you stay in the quiet, the stronger this version becomes. You start to see that your value doesn't rise with followers or fall with absence. Your peace isn't a performance, it's a discipline. WisdomWavesAura is your companion in this discipline, helping you cultivate a peace that no one can steal. Discipline is what lets you sit in the silence without flinching. It's what keeps you rooted in your purpose, even when no one is watching, even when no one is clapping. Real peace doesn't come from others believing in you, it comes from becoming someone you believe in, someone who stands tall when everything else falls away. This version of you can only be born in the silence. It's not easy, and it's not supposed to be. Clarity hurts before it heals. It tears through the illusions, forcing you to admit that it wasn't just others who hurt you, it was your need to be needed, your addiction to being wanted. The need made you a slave to praise, to presence, to connection at any cost. But now, in this quiet, you're free. WisdomWavesAura is your space to embrace this freedom, to build a life that's yours alone. When you stop needing the world's validation, a miracle happens. You no longer belong to its chaos. You don't bend to its demands. You live for something deeper, something truer. The silence becomes your strength, your sanctuary, your forge. It shows you who you are when the masks are gone, when the noise fades, when the crowd disappears. And in that clarity, you find a power that no one can touch. You find the you that's been waiting all along. So stay with the silence. Let it speak. Let it shape you. Because in the quiet, you'll find the strength you've been searching for, not in others, but in yourself. WisdomWavesAura is here to walk with you, to remind you that this isn't loneliness, it's liberation. It's not the end, it's the beginning. And it's not just clarity, it's freedom. It's freedom.